Hey everybody. Most of you know this blessing. Let's do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And I have something written too. I'm in radio. I like speaking into a microphone. What can I say? So thank you all for being here. Jessica and I are so honored that you're all here to join us today. Mom and Dad, I did it. You always told me, someday you'll find a nice Jewish girl who thinks you're a nice Jewish boy. And I was always a little skeptical. It's my fault, a little shy. But then I found somebody who didn't make me shy. She was outgoing and exciting, and the first day that we spent together, she let me take her to a Phoenix Suns game, and that's probably because she came from a sports fan's household. They even let me watch the Seahawks game during Thanksgiving dinner last year. And for the record, they won in San Francisco, and Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman ate turkey on the 50-yard line. This day would not be possible without our parents, Joanne and Harry Margulis. Big round of applause for them. And Perry and Gary Greenberg, give it up for them as well. And keep it going for my dad, he turned 56 today. Happy birthday, Dad! And Joanne's on Thursday. All right. So you may have heard Greg say this during the ceremony, but I wanted to make a point to mention it as well. Jessica and I have bonded over a lot of different things in our time together, but I think that the most meaningful has been pinball. I told you about Grandma and Grandpa Rubens, classic old Chicago in Spokane. And you told me about Uncle Greg and Aunt Mary's basement in Columbus, Spirit of 76. On our first trip to Seattle, you said you wanted to go to the Pinball Museum. I'd never heard of that. Your excitement sold me on it immediately. We were there for 4 hours. I told my friends about it. They loved it just as much as we did. Last year, I got to visit Columbus. I got to play the Spirit of 76 machine, and I got to put my name on the high score list. Up there on Life Accomplishments, guys. Can't wait to go back and play it again. You are so gorgeous. I cannot believe I get to call you my wife. And just being around you fills me with happiness. One of the greatest feelings in the world is driving home and knowing that you'll be there. There is nobody out there like you. I love you so much, and I'm so proud to call you my wife. So let's raise our glasses to this lovely woman right here. L'chaim!
For those of you who have wanted to use the restroom but didn't want to miss anything important, this would probably be a perfect time to do what you want to do. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Well, if you keep interrupting me, this could take First of all, for those of you whom I've yet to meet, consider yourself lucky. My name's Harry, although I suppose Weepy would be a good, more fitting name today. Just in case. It's been one of those years, actually. No one wants to see a grown man cry, but just like the tears I shed on my own wedding day, these are tears of happiness. On that note, I would like to introduce you to my beautiful, lovely, sweet, adoring wife. Did I get that right? She wrote this, so Joanne. Joanne spent the better part of a day working on this celebration, and she never whispered a word of what she was up to me. By the way, at the end of the evening, if you have a spare moment, Joanne would appreciate your favorable Yelp review. Jill will be reading your comments with interest. Okay. Also, for those of you who haven't yet had a chance to meet the wonderful, brilliant, hysterical, and I suppose that could be taken a couple different ways, officiant of tonight's ceremony, I would like to introduce my brother, Greg. Greg? We are just like brothers almost. Greg, Joanne, Jessica, Andy, and I don't know how to express our appreciation for all the hours you spent procuring the fake permit that allowed you to preside over today's ceremony. Although the invoice you handed me a few minutes ago should go a long way. Seriously, you are amazing and believable. Thank you, bro, very much. Love you. Along with Perry and Gary Greenberg, Joanne and I want to welcome everyone and thank you for joining us on this special occasion. I was not blessed with an ability to remember things, especially important things, like what day of the week trash is collected, or speeches. Joanne wouldn't let me buy a teleprompter for this. And she was terrified that I might go off script. So my apologies for having to refer to these notes. You know, it's funny how my wife drew the line at buying a teleprompter. It wasn't a problem for her to greenlight a couple hundred miniature potted plants so you could find your seat for tonight. And so you know, they're not just any potted plants. They are Norwegian hothouse succulents, which only take on a green hue for 1 week in September, so enjoy them while you can. But paying someone to $5 to hold a cue card for me, so I didn't look like an idiot. Sorry, dear, but we had to draw a line somewhere. Okay. Anyway, I know it's traditional for the bride's father to say a few words, but since Joanne still won't divulge the guy's name, I guess it's up to me to say a little something. I'm just kidding, Jess. I'm pretty sure. Ever since Jessica was very young, Joanne and I have called her our little princess. Jess has been blessed not only with beauty, but with a certain, let's call it, crafty intelligence. She knew that princesses were not only supposed to act a certain way, but dress the part as well. So her closet was always filled with princess outfits. And of course, it still is. Tiaras, fancy gowns, shoes, some more shoes, and I don't want to leave out shoes. When Jess was 7, we bought her an iPhone and taught her about the internet site Poshmark, which was a mistake. We were thinking she could perhaps sell some of her excess footwear on the site, but we forgot you can also purchase footwear on the site. I remember the day Jessica was born. The nurse smiled at me and informed me that my baby daughter was just perfect. She had everything, the nurse said, including 2 feet. I thought this was kind of a strange thing for the nurse to tell me. But she was smiling, and this was the happiest day of my life. And yes, Jilly, I've had 2 happiest days of my life. 3 happiest days. Okay, where was I? So I didn't think much of the nurse's comment. but I now understand. Girls with feet buy a lot of shoes. Andy, a piece of advice. Nah, it'll be a lot more fun watching you figure this out on your own. Anyway, I digress. Jessica, I guess I can't. How can I talk to her?
Take it out.
Can you?
Take it out.
Okay. I've seen you wear a lot of princess outfits through the years. Thanks. No, this is enough for me. Thank you. I've seen you wear a lot of princess outfits through the years. Glittery ones, lacy ones, ones that called for special fancy accessories like extra pairs of shoes. All of those outfits were adorable. I have the pictures to prove it. But I have to admit, Jess, of all the princess outfits you've worn over the years, the one you're wearing tonight is the most special and the most breathtaking. Not because of the dress, but because of the special, beautiful woman wearing it. Excuse me while I use another tissue. I get emotional when I remember how much this particular princess outfit cost. Okay, if I could be serious for a moment, Joanne would be thrilled. Jessica, I know you've heard your mother and I tell you how proud we are of you, but I want to say it again, if only to embarrass you in front of friends and family. Your mother and I are so proud of the young lady you've become. You are the best. Don't you cry. Don't even start. You're smart, compassionate, witty, fun, and talented. There's not one Seinfeld or Family Guy reference that slips by you unnoticed. That's why on the day of my daughter's wedding, I've had to grant the favor to anyone who asked. Of course, your mother was the only one who wanted something. She asked if she could say a few words. Don't worry, it's only 2 more pages. And since I've never heard her say just a few words before, I was curious. So here's your mother.
Darling Jessica Annie, the moment you were born, you transformed our lives. You gave us the gift of understanding and the appreciation of what it means to be a parent. And you've given us so much joy. We're very lucky to be your parents. When we first met Andy, we recognized immediately that he was someone special. He seemed a good fit for you, perhaps the piece you needed to feel complete. You know, like when you found that perfect purse to match your Capricorn jet. Your father and I are delighted that you have chosen Andy to share your joy for eternity. You're welcome. That's all I have.
Well, let's hear it for the mother of the bride. Okay, where was I before I was interrupted? Andy, Joanne and I are thrilled that you are now officially a part of our family. This weekend, you've had the opportunity to get to know the Margulis clan a little better and gain some insight to the genetic backstory of what you've signed up for. Sorry, man. Anyways, I've always loved being a father to 2 amazing daughters and all that comes with that honor. The dancing, the shopping, the not understanding what they're talking about most of the time. But finally, I have someone I can talk guy stuff with. Someone who doesn't threaten to call the SPCA every time a baseball player hits a sacrifice fly. someone who knows that the 2007 Florida Gators BCS championship victory over the Buckeyes no longer holds any meaning and was never anything more than the SEC and BCS exchanging money under the table. Yeah. Andy, I can even look past the fact that you are a diehard Seahawks fan. Because we share more than a love for sports, a love for something much more important. Jessica and Andy, you are amazing individuals. Together, you are even more special. At this time, we'd like to ask everyone to please stand and raise a glass to the newlyweds. To Jessica and Andy, may your lives be filled with love and happiness.
Hi everyone. Oh, can you hear me? Okay. Hi. Yeah, I'm sorry in advance for crying. Okay. June 26, 1989. The worst day of Jessica's life. The day I was born. Here was sweet little 3-year-old Jessica, who's minding her own business and enjoying life, when all of a sudden her little sister comes in and changes everything. Growing up together,
Growing up together, Jess and I didn't exactly get along. She wouldn't let me play with her Barbies, and I wouldn't leave her alone when her friends came over. We had this thing called the Summer Fun Points Chart.
you're gonna have to take back over. Okay, so we had the summer fun points chart. If we went an entire day without getting in a fight, we got a sticker on that day of the chart. It was a calendar. If we got a row of stickers a few days in a row, we got to do something exciting, like go ice skating or get a new video game. We never made it past 2 days. Okay, so now you know that we didn't get along, but here are some other fun things about Jessica that you might not know. Sorry. She has a knack for naming pets. She got a pet fish when she broke her arm. She named it Jessica. Fun fact number 2. She's very good at losing things. She's lost everything from her car keys to her driver's license, from her cell phone to her shoe on a ride at Disneyland. To be fair, she was 2, and she loved shoes even then, so she took it off and threw it off the ride. She's the cleanest person you'll ever meet. Just kidding. Obviously. Walking through her apartment is like navigating through a jungle. My mom and I used to go on these recon missions to clean her room every year when she left for college, but we eventually gave up because every time she came home, it was ruined within minutes. Anyway, back to Jessica and I not getting along. Eventually, Jessica went off to college, and we both realized that we missed each other, and that no one else understood our weird sense of humor. We realized that having a sister is a really special thing, and that the bond we have can never be broken. January 2012. Andy came into Jessica's life and changed everything. Pretty sure she was a little bit happier about this date. Even though I never thought it was possible, Andy understands Jessica just as well as I do, if not better. He knows that he's responsible for killing any bug Jessica encounters, even if it's this big. He understands that Jessica is easily distracted and needs someone to keep her on track. And most of all, he knows that Jessica needs someone to love completely and forever because she's an amazing person and she deserves it. Okay, here's the rough part. I'm so happy to be giving Jessica away to a man who's just as amazing as her. Let's start again. Okay. I know he'll take good care of her and that they're going to have an amazing life together. One second. Okay. To my beautiful sister. No, I can't do it.
To my beautiful sister. Thank you for always being there for me when I needed you.
Thank you for all the memories, for all the dance routines we made up together, for all the times we agreed to get along for just a few hours to make our parents happy. Thank you for growing up with me, and thank you for being my best friend.
And to Andy, please take care of my sister.
She may need a little extra attention, but she's more than worth it. I hope you two have a magical life together, and that you get the happily ever after you have always wanted. I love you both so much. Mazel tov. Please everyone love you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Skip Rasmussen. I'm Andy's best man. Before I start, one more time, Harry, Joanne, Perry, and Gary. Give it up for putting it on. I've known Perry and Gary almost as long as I've known Andy. Kind of logical, but I think me and Andy first met. We were first grade. We were playing t-ball up at Northwest College, and a lot of the guys on that t-ball team are in the house tonight. I think Jordan was there, Brian Weiss, Brett, a lot of other guys. It's amazing that these guys are all still here to celebrate your wedding. It's incredible that all these years later. So give it up for those guys. Another one of my favorite early memories is the neighborhood Hanukkah parties that Perry would throw for all the neighborhood kids, even the goyams, like myself. And I think she especially liked it because the teacher in her wanted to educate. And Perry, I still know the Hamotzi by heart. I think I did it at the bar a little bit earlier. So, great. And also those famous latkes of Perry's. I know if she's making them, I'll be there. Paymon will be there for sure. He'll be there. Me and Andy really grew close, and the Greenbergs moved next door to me. Andy and me really grew up together. They moved into the house my dad had built right next door to ours, and we've pretty much been best friends from that moment until right now. It's amazing to think about. It's really incredible to think back on those times. I mean, it's idyllic childhood. We were swimming in the lake in the summer. We'd bike down to the card shop, buy baseball cards. I remember playing wiffle ball all day, every day. We rigged up a floodlight so we could play into the night. God, that was amazing. It was back then. It was that early on when Andy mentioned that his dream was to be a sports broadcaster. Like Britt said last night, early on, that was his dream. That's what he wanted to do. And it always stuck with me. I always like, oh, that'd be cool. I might like to do that too. But Andy was the one who stuck with it. I mean, as we got older, things happened. Went to the bar mitzvah. I remember the bar mitzvah. That was fun. No, seriously, I remember that was an awesome party. I remember like telling my folks, I was like, "Well, we should try this Jewish thing out. This is freaking great." I have a party like that. I mean, we played baseball together, junior high. Andy was a pitcher. I was a catcher. God. It's weird to think back all those times. And went to high school, and we went to college. Andy went to college a year earlier than me, and that year we went down to visit him in Tucson. Me and Nate went down. We hung out. I think Jess was there. Andy showed us the college life, a lot of which we won't tell Jessica about just right now. Although she was there, that's true. We were in college. Me and Andy, when we drove his car from Seattle to Tucson, a road trip, a West Coast road trip. A couple years later, we did the same thing when he moved to Phoenix. And as I mentioned, Andy has kept following his dream of sports broadcasting. And man, I know the work you put in. I know you struggled in the mud for a long time. You put early hours, working 3 jobs at a time to make that happen. I know what you did. Radio stations in Seattle, radio stations in Phoenix. And we were talking about earlier, he co-hosts a show in Phoenix, with former NFL player Bertrand Berry. We were talking about it. 98.7 FM, if you're 10 to noon, that's right. Off the Edge of B Train is what it's called. There we go, there's the plug. No, it's awesome. I'm in my desk at work in Portland, Oregon, and I can turn on and listen to my friend talk sports. And it's awesome. It's just like we used to do, arguing in the backyard about sports, except now he's talking to former NFL players instead of me. No, Andy, I just want to say to you, I'm so proud of you. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, I am so proud of you. Like Britt said last night, for following your dream to do that and never giving up on that. I truly am. But I'm even more proud of you for your marriage to Jessica here tonight. Jessica, you are smart, you are beautiful, and most importantly, you don't let Andy win all those arguments that he always used to win when he was arguing with me. I got to meet Jessica, I think the first time you brought her over to my folks' house back in Kirkland. You were excited to bring her over, to meet us, meet the family. And we were excited to meet her too. And I think we sat down and played a game of Rummy Cube. And it was pretty evident, early on, that they had a personal, standings, a one-on-one, head-to-head, really competitive that they did together. And I think pretty quick, I was I shouldn't have been surprised. And this is the guy who used to keep our batting averages in wiffle ball. But Jessica was right there with him because she quickly voided the whole game. This is not counting the personal standings, so there's outside interference going on, which I think was me. So I knew then, she was right on his level. And I've gotten to, hang out with Justin a couple times since then. We attended a wedding, Brian's wedding. Brian's in the house tonight. We got to attend his wedding last summer, and another family game night. And Jessica, you're always smiling, you're always kind, you're always fun to be around. And, I hope to spend more time with you as the years go by. It's awesome. And I remember I was down in Eugene, I was hanging out with my girlfriend Shauna, and it was back in, several months ago when Andy called me and told me that he was going to propose to Jessica. He hadn't done it yet, but he called me and he just wanted to tell me, he's like, hey, I'm going to do this. And I remember it because it wasn't like he was asking for advice or anything. He was confident. He knew this is what he was going to do, and he was so excited to tell me that this was what he wanted and this is what he was going to do. And I remember that. It stuck with me. And again, I was so proud of you for that, Andy. In the last few years, Andy and I haven't gotten to see each other all that often. We live in different states, different jobs, different lives. But Andy, I got to tell you, all the credit in the world for our friendship remaining so strong goes to you. Andy, unfailingly, he texts me or sends me an email all the time, at least once a week. It's about sports news, or it's about, hey, there's snow on the mountain here, this movie's coming out, whatever it is, just to keep in touch. It's incredible, and unfailingly, every year on my birthday, Andy will give me a call just to check in and see how life is going. Andy, you are the most loyal friend I've ever had. And as you two start your life together, I just want to say to you, Jessica, that you are getting an incredible guy. And I know from the bottom of my heart, he will be an incredibly loyal husband to you for your entire life. I know it. So, that's it. I wish you all the best in your marriage to come. Andy and Jessica, everybody.